I'm Josh Elliott, representative in the 88th District, representing Hamden and Hamden alone. I was elected in November of 2016, so I'm starting my first term.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself and why did you decide to get into politics?
Sure. My first foray into politics was in 2009. I worked on a state race very similar to mine in Virginia. I was the finance director for that race. That's where I got my feet wet in terms of knocking on doors, making telephone calls, and doing just your standard retail politics. And I decided after that race, after we got totally demolished in the anti-Obama backlash of 2009, I decided that campaigning wasn't for me, or at the very least, campaigning for somebody that I didn't fully believe in terms of their belief structure.
What is your main goal to achieve while you're in office?
I have a lot of goals.
Good.
The problem is that, let's say my one goal is a public option, just as an example, where you know you're going to be getting a lot of resistance, and because it's something and legislation that's so cumbersome, it might have no chance of actually succeeding. So the tack that I'm taking is very different than what other representatives do. So instead of choosing my one issue that I think is the most important and just knocking my head against the wall for the next decade, I'm seeing what my top 20, 25 issues are, and I'm amalgamating and I'm shifting what my priorities are, not in terms of what's important to me, but just in terms of like how they tier. And instead of just saying that this is the most important thing to me, I say these are all important to me. What has the most support now? So that if I'm going to spend my time, I spend it more effectively and efficiently.
Can you give a little advice to the younger generations that are looking to get into politics?
Yes. You can get involved on the municipal level, on the state level, on the federal level. The first and best thing to do is find a campaign. Start working on a campaign, whatever it is, and whatever it is that you're going to do is going to take you out of your comfort zone. When that happens, you know you're doing something right.
So I'd like to switch gears for a second and talk about a controversial topic in the state of Connecticut.
Sure.
Bill HB 5539, an act concerning the legalization, taxation, and regulation of the retail sales and use of marijuana. Mm-hmm. What do you see as the benefits of this bill and the future of marijuana in the state of Connecticut?
So, my feeling is that if alcohol were illegal, the number of studies that you would show about how bad alcohol is would outnumber marijuana maybe by 100 to 1. It's literally a poison, but we've made it a socially acceptable poison. Marijuana use is equal across the board. It doesn't depend on whether or not you're Democrat or Republican. It doesn't depend on whether you're white or black. It doesn't depend on whether you're man or woman. The base rates of use are basically the same. And this is also a generational issue, is that boomers have been in power for so long, and they withstood that bombarding of anti-drug propaganda for so long that they're completely detached from the logic of marijuana prohibition. So the intergenerational shift in attitude can be quick, and it can be big. And we're on the cusp of that. There's still some holdovers. There's still some of that fear from the past fear-mongering, but we're just about there. So it's a matter now, really, of when is it going to happen, and we need to keep on pushing these arguments in favor.
I'm just going to do a quick hit segment.
Sure.
Favorite musician or band?
Favorite musician? I'm a big fan of the one guy, one guitar. So I like John Mayer. I like Jack Johnson.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my jam. It's easy listening.
Favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? Dispatch I think is my favorite band, and that's my holdover from college years. Sports team? I'm not a sports guy.
Okay.
Yep.
Favorite destination in Connecticut?
In Connecticut? This is going to be a little cheesy. So I live in Hamden, and I have Sleeping Giant right in my backyard. So every day that it's feasible, I'll take my dog out for a hike. So my favorite place is the Sleeping Giant Park, to be able to go and go out and hike there.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.